There's this remote rural village called Herg, and apparently every 30 years, dating back hundreds, someone disappears, vanishes without a trace. And this weekend is the anniversary of 30.
We are talking the movie Blood Myth. This one is directed and written by Sean Brown and Luke Gosling and stars Jonathan McClean and Anna Dawson. So on the cover of this, you'll be kind of forgiven for thinking this is like a out-and-out horror film. And whilst there are horror elements, this is more of a kind of paranormal, supernatural drama than anything else. So what's the story? It's a Wicker Man-esque kind of like pagan ritual style film. So we have a journalist who is writing for his local paper, and he's kind of doing local legends, and he comes across this one particular legend called the 30, where every 30 years someone goes missing, and this dates back, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years. So arbitrarily he kind of picks this particular story to kind of go and cover. And he brings his pregnant fiancée along with him. And while he's there, he kind of checks into this kind of like very rural, kind of English village in the middle of nowhere. The locals all seem a little strange, and there seems to be, everyone's kind of heard of this kind of legend. Some kind of dismiss it, or most dismiss it as kind of pure, you know, bedtime stories and things like that, though there are a couple of people who take it seriously, one of which our main character has, you know, strikes up a bit of a friendship with and kind of helps with the investigation. And lo and behold, his fiancée appears to have gone missing after one night. So he's desperately trying to kind of find what's happened and obviously get to the bottom of the myth. What will happen? You have to watch the movie to find out. So first of all, what works with Blood Myth? I think the actual premise here is actually quite intriguing, because here in the UK we do have lots of kind of like old legends and kind of stories, and it plays very much kind of into that, and these kind of like this folklore that is kind of passed down from generation to generation, and it's quite an intriguing premise. And you know, if you've seen movies like the kind of the Wicker Man, you know, it kind of goes back to its kind of like its sort of pagan roots, and I think the actual setup here is pretty strong and quite intriguing, because we're not given too much information about what it all might mean, where these people go. I was actually reminded a little bit of Picnic at Hanging Rock in a lot of ways. It just made me think of that film. I think the actual film in regards to its technical elements, its kind of lighting is really good. There's some fantastic use of light and shadows in the movie to kind of give like the appearance of something more sinister. When he's checking into the hotel, the way the clerk is kind of lit kind of obviously makes him look particularly kind of sinister, and there's kind of lights off in the distance that we don't know quite what they are, things like that. So I think there's, on a technical side, it's actually proficiently made here, and a good use of kind of cinematography, camera placements, and even kind of things like sound design and stuff like that. However, I've got to say, where one aspect of this movie is let down, unfortunately, is the acting. I feel the acting is pretty poor across the majority of the cast. Not all, but the majority of the cast here. Everyone looks like they are really struggling to deliver lines, unfortunately. So the acting comes across as very kind of stilted. And because of this, you don't really buy into the characters as much, and sometimes the kind of like the choices made by the director and you know, writers here just seem a little bit false, a little bit hollow because of this. It just seems a little bit too scripted, if that makes sense, and doesn't come across as kind of natural dialogue. The movie is also incredibly slow, and I feel, although the setup is incredibly good, I think the Act 1 is the best part of this movie, the first act. But Act 2, it's just really, nothing really happens. I feel the movie doesn't have enough plot to make an interesting second act, because you just feel like you're following this guy, interviewing one person, interviewing a second person, interviewing a third person, and it doesn't really, you don't really feel that the plot is progressing in any kind of meaningful way. So the second act, unfortunately, is rather plodding. And then we come to the third act, which is obviously the conclusion. There are some elements that I thought worked well here. But there's a twist here that, to me, doesn't make loads of sense, because there's so many variables that would have gone into this. I don't think it just seems a little bit too unbelievable if you think about it too much. when you obviously, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but when you think about the kind of how many variables could have been involved in this, it just seems like a little bit of a stretch to believe, to be honest. So overall, I feel this movie is it's a watchable film. I think it's, if you like a kind of very light paranormal mystery, supernatural drama, that sort of thing. There are worse films here, and I think the idea of the plot and the story is fairly good, but I think for the execution is not necessarily the best. So I'll give this one a 5 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.